and welcome back to my channel. As you probably guessed based on the title of this video, I have decided to take part in the Halloween edition of Smutathon. This readathon is taking place during the final week of October, so from October 25th until the 31st, I think it is. I assume by the time this video goes up, the readathon has already started, so hopefully at this point I am busy reading all the books and checking off all the prompts. So for this readathon there is a bingo board. I'll try to put it up on the screen here. This video is basically going to be more of a pile of possibilities video more than a TBR, because what I've done is basically just picked out a selection of books from my TBR. My very big TBR. So I've just picked out a good mix of books that I really want to and need to get to soon, and also some books that are maybe more Halloween themed, because this bingo board is a good mix of Halloween themed prompts and more regular prompts. So I've tried to pick out a good mix of books that I could possibly read. I will not get to all of these books. As I mentioned before, I'm not a very fast reader, but I figured it was a good idea to maybe have some possibilities so that I can just choose whatever I feel like reading, really. My goal is to try and attempt a bingo, and aside from that I'm just going to check off as many prompts that I can with the books that I decide to read, basically. So I figured what I'd do today is just quickly go through the books that I picked out in my pile of possibilities. I'm not going to talk a lot about these books in this video, but I will be vlogging during the readathon, so if I get to these books, I will of course talk more about them then. So today I'm just going to quickly go through the books that I have picked out. The first two books that I'm going to mention are the two books that I'm most likely to read, the two books that I, for various reasons, just need to read very soon, and they're also pretty short and I think would fit well into this readathon. So the first book that I'm pretty sure I'm going to read is Introducing Mr. Winterbourne by Joanna. This book is already on my October TBR, so I need to get to it by the end of the month anyway, so I figured it was a good idea to just put it into my TBR for this readathon as well. This is a novella. I think it's just over 50 pages, so it is a good one to read during a readathon. It is historical romance, and I'm not sure how smutty it is. That's the case with all these books. I know they are romance, but I don't know how well they will fit into this readathon, but I'm just going to read them anyway and hope for the best. This one I think has some enemies to lovers theme as well, so I think it's going to be a fun one. The other one that I'm pretty sure I'm going to read is Vanilla Clouds by Horvath. This is also a pretty short one. It's just over 100 pages, and this one, based on what I've read from the author before, I have read another book by this author, and based on that it's going to fit this readathon very well, because that book was pretty smutty. So if it's the same with this one, it's going to be perfect for this readathon. Then I have some books that are more paranormal and that I think will hopefully cross off some of the prompts on this bingo board. The first one is Accidentally in Love, I think the title is, by Khalin. This is a romance where one of the main characters, I think, is an ancient god of some kind. So I'm going to assume there are some supernatural, paranormal things in here that will hopefully check off some prompts. Aside from that one, I don't really know much about it, but I guess we'll see if I get to it. Another one that I think will hopefully cross off some prompts is Trapped with a Vampire by M.M. Wild. This is, I guess, a story that includes a vampire in some way. I think we have a shifter of some kind and a vampire who meets during a trip in the Alps. That is what I know about it. And also this is another one that is pretty short, so more novella length. A lot of these are shorter books that I thought would be good ones to read for a readathon. Then we have The Harvest Moon by Joshua Ian. This is also a paranormal book. I think this one is more like historical paranormal romance, and it's another one that is fairly short. This one I think it's 45 pages, so another one that is very good I think for a readathon. Another book I thought would be good to read is Cabin Fever by Pandora Pine. In this one there is like a missing hiker that is being rescued by a like bear shifter, so another one that I going to assume is more paranormal. And the final one that is more like paranormal supernatural that I picked out is Soulbound, the Omega Assassin by Devon Webster. This one is a little bit longer, but still not long. It's about like 160 pages I think. Again, don't know too much about it, aside from the fact that I'm going to assume there is some like alpha omega dynamics in here. Based on the cover, it kind of looks like there are elves in here, or at least one, but I guess we'll see. The rest of the books I'm going to mention are more contemporary, so not like paranormal or anything. So these are just books that I would like to get to. The first one is another short one that I think would be good for a readathon, and that is Bossy, Mr. Frosty by Webster. This one is also just over 50 pages, so very short. This one just sounds like fun. I think it's like a workplace setting of some kind. But I guess we'll see if I'll get to it or not. Then we have one that is a little bit longer, and that is The Ballerina and the Biker by Rebecca James. This one I think is just under 200 pages, so still not long, but like a little bit longer than some of these others. This one, based on the title, I'm going to assume it's more like enemies to lovers or opposites attract, or some kind of dynamics like that between a ballerina and a biker, I guess. This one I just want to read soon because same as some of the others on this list, it's a book that I am going to read for another challenge I'm doing over on Goodreads. So I would like to get to it before the end of the year at the very least. So I guess we'll just see if I'll get to it during this readathon or not. And it's the same with the next 3 and final books I'm going to mention. These are all kind of longer and more contemporary in style, so I don't expect to get to all of them, but maybe I could get to 1 or 2. First one of those is Special Delivery by Heidi, Khalin. This one I really want to get to, and I think it would be good for this readathon because based on some reviews that I've read, it sounds a little bit more smutty than some of the others. But this one won't really check off a lot of prompts, I think, so I guess we'll just see what else I end up reading, and maybe I can add this one if I've already checked off a lot of prompts. Then we have One Man's Trash by Marie Sexton. This one I think is a darker type of romance, so for that reason it could be good to read for this readathon, but it's also one of the longer books on this pile of possibilities list. This one I think is almost 350 pages, so I guess we'll just see if I end up getting to this one. But this is one that I for sure know that I will try and get to soon, so if I don't read it during this readathon, I will for sure read it at some point during the next couple of months. And the final book I'm going to mention here is Schooling the Jock by Easton and Tara Lane. This is another one that I just want to read soon. Don't know if it will happen during this readathon or not. This one I think is like a college romance, and I think there's some enemies to lovers in here, which is always fun. And it's another one that I will be reading soon, but I don't know if I will read it during this readathon or not. I guess we'll just see how much else I'll end up reading and if I have time for it. So that was my pile of possibilities. I have no idea how many books I will be able to read during that week. Like I mentioned, a lot of these are shorter books, more like novella, short story length. So if I read a lot of those, I assume I'll probably have time to read quite a few. But then there are also some that are longer, so if I read those, I won't have time to read as many. The good thing is that I will actually have this week off for work. That was not intentional in any way, it just worked out really well that way. So for that reason, I'm going to have more time to read than I would during a normal week, so that is good. But yeah, I have no idea how much I'll end up reading, but I'm super excited for this readathon. I've been reading a lot of fantasy lately, so I just really felt like taking a break from that and just read a ton of romance for an entire week. That just sounds like the best idea right now, so for that reason I'm just super excited to be reading some romances. Another thing I should mention is that because this is a pile of possibilities, I may end up reading other books than the ones that I've mentioned. As some of you may know, I like having a plan, which is why I decided to film this video and just put together a list of possibilities and books that I could possibly read for this readathon. But I'm also going to be very open and give myself the option to mood read if that's what I feel like doing. I'm not very good at mood reading because I usually always have a plan for what I'm going to read next, but if I feel like doing that, I'm going to give myself the opportunity to do just that. But I guess we'll see. I'm just going to go into this week with a plan to read as much as I possibly can and check off as many prompts as I can and just have fun and read what I want to read basically, but with those prompts in mind so that I can hopefully get at least one bingo. That is the goal for the week. Anyway, I think I've talked for way too long. This was just going to be a quick, short video to let you all know that I'm doing this readathon. You will see a vlog at some point. I will dedicate this entire week to reading romances, which is going to be a ton of fun, I think. And since I think I've said everything that I wanted to say, it's probably time to just end this video here. Let me know if you're doing this readathon too and what you plan to read for it, if you are doing it. That's going to be it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, you can always hit like down below, or you can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me, including the vlog for this readathon. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!